Life of love. Life of love. With Joy Hilson.
Hello, dear friends, and welcome to another episode of Life of Love, where we gather every week to explore the divine feminine, our wonderful world that we have, and live with the curiosity of how we can live our best lives. And no judgment of anything we've done in the past, but if there's something that we'd wish to change and live a life in a different way, this is our chance. And every day is a chance to live your life of your dreams. So today is just a very special day. We're coming in with a guest from Germany, and she's a goddess. I mean, I followed her on her social, and you guys have to check out her Instagram. She's putting magic out there. She's putting inspiration, and every single thing that I saw her post was just like, yay. So I'm so happy to have her as a part of our Life of Love community. And that's what we are. We're all sisters and brothers wanting to live our best lives. And so I honor everyone's ears. And again, we're nothing without someone paying attention. We're a bell sounded in a void if no one's listening. So I just honor every single person. And when you share these, we help change the world. So thank you so much. The show is just really doing great. And it's because of you guys sharing and being here. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce Hao Masame. And I was having fun learning how to pronounce her name because it's African. And I don't know how to pronounce African names. So I got to learn a little bit about phonics. My field was speech pathology for so many years. And although I'm not in the field every day, it's just always a delight to learn more about phonics and pronunciation. And so I'm just really happy to have her. She's, like I said, she's a goddess. And welcome. I'm so happy to have you here on Life of Love. How?
Thanks for having me. And I want to start by greeting your community, Life of Love. We all want that life of love. And I often love to greet, and I do the greeting in my native language. Dumelang, Lokai. And the direct translation of Dumelang is agree. And what I'm asking you what are you agreeing to as you're showing up today? What are you agreeing to when you hear the words life of love? And lokai means, where are you? Locate yourself. Sometimes we show up and as much as you may be listening, you are busy, distracted, doing something else. And what about you give yourself permission to let go of everything and just be? And as I'm saying that, what is coming to my mind is more than, because at times you listen with the ears, whatever that is coming through. But my invite for today is, can we listen with our body? And I'm just going to share this, even though it's not my space. Before we started, Judy was just sharing an intention. And it was quite interesting because the energy that I felt when she was saying the intention, it was at the solar plexus. Like we were just there, the solar plexus. And shortly after, the word that she said was patriarchy. And it was like, wow, that's quite interesting. So normally when this happens, it just shows the energy or where attention needs to be given, when it comes to embodying our power or even disconnecting from the patriarchal conditioning and all of that. That's just what I wanted to share because that's the first thing that came through as we're just like opening this door to say, let's step in and have this conversation.
That's so amazing. And I never shared this with the audience, but it's a routine I have. And that's what she's talking about. Before we hit record, I ask for the message for the highest good. And I ask for us to be inspired by what needs to come forward. And I think the audience should know that that's my intention every single time, is to give a message to help. And when I run into people on the streets or there's comments in the comment, I always get like, oh, that helped me with my day. And I'm like, okay, so the message is getting through. But this is a really amazing synchronicity or energetic that this is the first time that's brought forth that I said something about patriarchy in my intention, and you felt it in your solar plexus. And we're gonna work through this because it's a really important message because it came to you and me at this time. So yes, and that's what I want to talk when I saw your information and what you've been working on and through and your beautiful story, this embodiment. And I want the listeners to know what embodiment is. And I get the impression that it has to do a lot with the intention also, the way you introduce that. We haven't talked about embodiment on Life of Love yet. So if you could share what it means to you and how to wrap your head around this concept.
Yeah. Embodiment, I feel like is everything, truly speaking. We are here to be embodied. That is being that wholeness that we are, but at the same time honoring this body, because the truth of it is that we are here to walk the body, and at times, especially when it comes to spirituality, we love the high energies and connecting up into higher realms and all that, and we forget that that doesn't serve us if we are not here. And even when I talk about embodiment, we don't want to connect to the high energies and all the light beings and not be able to do what we came here to do. And for you to be able to conceive and give birth to what your soul is here to give birth to, you get to be in the body. It doesn't matter whether you're talking about your gift, whether you're talking about the codes that you are meant to bring here. You get to be in the body for you to be able to receive that. Because if at all I have a gift for you and I come to your place to give you your gift, because it's your birthright, all of that, your relationship blueprint, your wealth blueprint, health, all of that is yours. But if I come to your place to give you this and you are not there, then it's just the gift is just going to be there. You're not even going to know that you've got a gift that you get to receive, and you're not even open to receive because you are not there. So this is a lot of people will be like, I'm doing a lot of work, and they don't see that outcome that they desire in that physical reality. It's kind of like there is a gap or a mismatch in terms of the other life and what they're experiencing in that physical reality. And on the other hand, even when I'm talking about embodiment, it's us being. We know, I know you know about the be you do have. You get to be for you to be able to take that inspired action, which is the doing, and have that which is divinely yours by your birthright. So it starts with us being, because when we are not in the body, what happens is we'll channel in whatever inspiration, whatever ideas that we have. But then when it comes to us taking that action, it's kind of like the body's not there with you. Kind of like, you're kidding me. I'm not doing that. And you start self-sabotaging and all that. Or you start taking action, you disconnect and start taking action from the mind. Actually, you don't even disconnect because you've long disconnected. You live from here. So whatever that is coming through, you are processing it from here. This is why I mentioned be and allow your body to feel. And we all know about the positivity and the positive words and all that. And sometimes we can run with, I am being positive, or I'm being all those words that we throw around. But when we connect to the body, you realize that when I say love, yes, since we are here in the life of love, right? And when I talk about love, we know what love means. Consciously, we all know that. And we all want love. But what is it, the love that, the memories, the imprints that our body is holding to when we talk about love? So when you are embodied and you let go even of the meanings and positive, negatives and all that, you are more connected to what is here. You get to feel what is here. And that's the way you get to process it. Even when it comes to the creation, that is the manifestation, the acceleration key in creating anything is feeling. When you are embodied, you can be here. And when you talk about a loving relationship, this is why when someone is taking you through the process of creating anything, I know we use the word visualization a lot, but feeling is the way. How does it feel when you are with this partner of yours? How are they
Right.
touching? You get to be present and feel that. What are you smelling? What are you tasting? It's you being here. Even when you talk about whatever money, whether it's wealth, how much is it? Because even when you talk about, there's no frequency of I want 1 million, this is how 1 million feels like. The question is, what do you want to do with it? When you step into creating those desires, it's you feeling into that. So when you feel that it's easier for you to receive the inspired action that is coming through for you to give birth to what you desire. And I'm talking about giving birth here. Why? Because I believe you can't give birth to something that you do not conceive. The creation process is the same process that we have when we are creating a child. I don't want to jump the guns, but the whole thing is I talk a lot about the sexual energy, right? And this is the same energy that we use to create. This is whether we're creating a baby or creating our desires. And before we can allow someone to penetrate us, we get to be ready. We get to feel a certain way and open up for that needs to penetrate us. And even when it comes to creation, whether it's your gift, whatever that is, it's us opening up, it's softening up to allow that to come through. So that in short, it's talking about the embodiment, the beingness.
Wow, it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. And it came to my mind, like, so when you're on vacation, you're not at your house, you call your neighbor to pick up your Amazon package, or you have a package delivered. You make sure that doesn't sit out front of your house and get rain on, and you want to open up that, make sure that's the right delivery. And so it's the same with the universe, with what your desires are. You don't just leave you don't just call something and then leave it on your front porch. You have to have your body ready to receive it. And that's when you're talking about the embodiment. You need to be in your body. And it's easy to say it, but there's certain times it's just really hard when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling low resource. You do everything you can not to feel the lack because it's uncomfortable. So those are the times you need the biggest paradigm shift, right? Because you're uncomfortable. You need a different state. And so getting to your body can help you get through it, but it takes the courage to really feel it. And yeah, and I never want someone to think life of love is all about rainbows and butterflies. Like, you have to get through the muck to get to your highest expression. Like, these challenges are here to help you ascend and figure out that you are strong enough. You're goddess. Everyone's a goddess. Everyone's a god. It's just connecting and remembering that you can create these things that you yearn for. And I loved how you said you have to feel it. What's the sensation of it?
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. If you can't even think of the sensation of it, then you have some embodiment work that's what I'm hearing you say. That's when you get into the embodiment work. What was the big trigger for you? And was it a sexual thing that gave you the aha moment? Like, how did you come about knowing that this was a key? This was a key to ascension, a key to a new timeline, to having more happiness, abundance, and joy.
I'm just laughing because I never said this before, but I went through these trials and tribulations, and there was a moment when I started meditating. And for me, the meditation was different because I was starting to meditate. And when I come out of this meditation, I'm flipping high, and I'm like, I would have different kind of orgasm in my meditation, like literally mind orgasm, heart orgasm, like really body genital orgasm, And by then that was before we divorced with me and my ex-husband. So I'll just share like with all this excitement, like, oh my God, I don't know how to explain to you what is happening, but this is what I'm going through. It was I don't even think drugs or anything can really match to that bliss. that
You see?
orgasmic bliss. This is why the word is coming from. I love to talk about the orgasmic. Actually, this is what life is all about, to make love
Mm.
with life. But having an orgasm while we are meditating is not something that is really common, So I'm here processing all that I'm going through, but then at the same time, I'm going like, whew, maybe I'm just one of those crazy people. I don't get it, because it's something different, But when I was doing the work, I went through the process. Actually, one other mind-blowing incident that kind of like came to me, besides the anger that I had while I was growing up, and I associated it with the dysfunction from home, and then with life happening to me and all that through me, because at first it's happening to me, and then you realize it's happening for me and through me, and then all that. And there was a point when my inner child came, and she just asked me, "Do you want to know why I'm angry?" And I was like, "Yeah," and I just allowed it, and there was that quietness. I was like, "Okay." I just went to bed, and while I'm just lying down, I kind of like went into this trance, and I went back into a lifetime where my inner child was molested by his father in that lifetime. The imprints in my body, it was like I'm experiencing it then. It was so flippant real. And after that, I had to go through that, process that. And I was not only healing the trauma, sexual trauma of that lifetime, I was also healing the shame that especially when we talk about shame, religious system, it indoctrinates us into believing that this energy, like sexual energy, is sinful, and especially even the story of even Adam, it has that, yeah. So there is that shame around the sexual energy. And this is not only for women, it's for both men and women. I always say patriarchy made us powerless by shutting off the woman's womb, and it shut off the man's heart. So the womb and the womb, or hara, and the heart are meant to work together for you to be able to give birth to what you desire. But there is a disconnection. Most women, we function from here, from the heart, and the men function from here, which becomes just a sexual activity. They're just active, but they don't know how to. It's not like they don't respect the energy. They don't even know how to use it, because this is a healing energy. It's a creation energy. So I went through that process of healing. And then one day I was just I was actually doing a live video, and it was kind of like the first time that I observed where I'm speaking from, that I'm not speaking from here. I'm speaking from my womb, from my genitals. There is that grounded, there's that sweetness that just comes from there. I just felt all the orgasmic energy that is coming through as I'm speaking. And I was like, what the heck is happening with me? I'm not doing anything. I'm just having a conversation. And that's when I started having really this downloads that went through, where I was just guided to connect. Whenever I felt disconnected from my purpose, I'll feel it from the disconnection from my sexual energy. And anyone who went through depression will know that when you are depressed, you don't feel like waking up, nothing excites you, and all that. And the worst part of it, we have this medical, I'm not saying get off medication, please, but then the antidepressants, instead of helping us get better, they might help you get better because you start producing those serotonin, feel good hormones from the mind, but you don't produce it from where you are meant to, in the gut. So it also affects your connection to your body. It affects your sexual energy. So that is how this came to be. And even when I talk about my purpose, because before I just felt like I'm not sure really of what my purpose is or my gift. I haven't really mastered that and all that. But the moment I connected to this energy, it kind of like became a gateway that kind of lead me. When I'm doing something that I am not in alignment with, for example, I was an accountant. There was nothing that was turning me on with accounting. Nothing, absolutely nothing, But when I started doing this, I can be sitting down just to write a post. If it's a post that comes from the inner being, I'll still feel that sexual energy. There is just that holiness that comes through, that I embrace. And it's an energy that you get to follow, even when it comes to the things that you do on a daily basis. It's worth it to stop and connect with the body. Where am I coming from when I'm doing this? Because it's a creative energy, right? So the time when you feel like, I don't even know what to write, you've lost that creative juices, there is something that is happening that is disconnecting you from this juices, this flow, this creation energy, which is life force energy. Even when you're talking about Kundalini, it's that energy that accelerates your connection to source. So for me, it started with that connection when I was sitting down to meditate. And then I started with this orgasm and all that. But there was a moment when it was like something that I felt it was happening outside of me. Like it's kind of like I only get to find this when I'm getting into meditation,
Right.
But then with time, I learned to be present enough for me to realize that this is something that is always here. It just needs me to pay attention to. Just like everything that you do, whatever that you nourish, you support, you feed, it grows. But what you don't give attention to, it dies. And the same thing with sexual energy. We have this twisted mindset, and this is really a problem, that when we grow up, we expect actually, when I get to 40, 50, I should have this amount of money, I should be married, I should have children, I have, like, everything is increasing, as we grow older. That's the expectation. But somehow we expect that when we grow older, we don't expect the wisdom that we have gathered over many years to be something so rich, and just embrace the richness that comes with as sexual energy. It even becomes something that is kind of like, is this person really having sex at this age? It's something that is still changing people that around.
I think you're so right. There's such secrecy and the whole idea that older people are being intimate. People are, I don't want to know. But I know what you're saying about that disconnect between the heart and the womb, and even the loss of innocence. I think just holding space for that's something that our mass consciousness deals with, and using sex as a power, like that's a serious thing that we need to work through. And so us using our joy and our sexual energy to produce something beautiful and to share something beautiful and bring back the innocence it's a huge thing to have that intention. So I encourage people, because I didn't have that feeling meditating, but I got it doing yoga. And I was like, is anyone else feeling this with the Shavasana? I'm like, holy Shavasana, like, and that helped me become embodied, was the yoga. And I just finally laid down and just felt what my body was feeling and the energy that I built up during the yoga flow, and then just laying there with the Shavasana. So there's not just one way, but I do believe that if people started meditating with the intention of building that energy and connecting your heart with your womb energy, and it's not complex, it's just like playing with a visualization, you can create an energy vortex right there, and it's very powerful and it's fun. And anyone who gets to experience with you is like, whoa. Talk about the queen, right?
Absolutely.
So it's a beautiful thing. And I do believe God gave us sex for creating and also for joy. Like, why would he give us these parts that fit together so well for us not to have fun with them? Like, what are we doing? Especially empty nesters, your kids are gone. You can walk around your underwear all day. It doesn't matter.
Right. I love what you said, and then, like, just going back a little bit, when you say you felt it in yoga, because yoga, it also involves the breath, right? And the breath is everything. Even just by breathing, if you can just make that conscious choice to say, every time when I breathe, I'm just gonna breathe right to my genitals and connect with the magic that is within me. Because when you look at it, even I love when you're talking about giving birth to our desires, to children and all that. When you are going through labor, what do you go to? The breath. When you are making love with someone and you don't want to come early, it's the breath. that connects you with that person. You breathe each other out when you are fully present and feeling into what you're feeling and also being attuned to what your partner needs, right? So it's the breath that also guides us. So the breath and the sound. This is why even when you're talking about when you're being intimate with someone, we enjoy it when there is that sound that is like the feedback that you're getting from your partner. And one other thing, like you mentioned as well, that empty nesters, you know, when I talk about the sexual energy, often the response that I get is like, oh, I'm good because I've been in a relationship for 20 years, I'm married and all that. But no, you can be in a relationship and having sex and not having an individual connection to a sexual energy. There is a difference when you are connected to this energy for you, which is what I call sexual sovereignty. You know, knowing that you deserve pleasure. You are connected with yourself. You know how it feels when you touch yourself. When somebody is connecting with you, you can tell them or even guide them without even speaking where you want to be touched. Because you give an impression when somebody touches where you love it. Are you comfortable to have even these conversations about what you like and what you don't like? Because I find that even when you're talking about trauma, for instance, there is other traumas like sexual trauma and all that. But for women, the trauma that most women experience is being penetrated when their bodies, and especially for those who are in a relationship or are married, where you feel like, I'm married, I have to. And when you are not ready, especially in a disconnected world that we are in, there is a lot of sexual activity, but there is no sensuality. So when it comes to the intimacy, the connection, the romance and all that, there is no that, but because you are afraid of saying no if you are not embodying your power, you're just gonna be there and let him do what he does. And then when he's done, it's kind of like, I just want to get over it. And still with men, if you are not attuned, you are not going to be able to tell that your partner is not in it with you. For you to stop and say, what is going on? And maybe something is going on, they're not sharing something. Because I always say, when it comes to intimacy loves openness, honesty, trust, and vulnerability. Because there's going to be time when you are having that. And when you're supposed to have an orgasm, you just start crying. There is a heart opening that is happening. And you don't even know even why the heck you crying. But it doesn't even matter. The question is, does this crying feel good at that moment? Can your partner really hold space where you are at and just find the beauty in that moment when you are open, vulnerable, and allowing all of that to come through? Because when you're talking about a queen is able to hold space for herself and for her king, and her king gets to do the same, right? We don't have to pretend whether I'm having an orgasm to impress you or anything, or, oh my God, I'm feeling like I want to cry, but I don't know why, and all that. Kind of like just allow it and hold space for it.
It's beautiful. And you do, that's a theme of your message is be your queen, and your king will be attractive, because queens don't attract boys, right? Like, you want a man, you need a man who's going to understand what your needs are and can show up in that authentic, vulnerable way, because they're willing to ask the question. Like, somebody who's scared is going to try to avoid and just not even ask, are you okay? Because they don't want to deal with the answer. And then you feel neglected. And then, so it can become this spiral. I know in my relationship, I know that my husband, the physical needs, he has a lot, at times his physical needs are a lot more than mine. And if I ask for something that I need, and then he feels like he gets something back, like it's like, back rub for this. And I'm like, no, sometimes I just want a back rub and you don't get anything. Like, and I don't want to feel guilty for asking for a back rub, right? Like, so we've been through it. Like, and I'm like, well, when you don't acknowledge that it's okay for you not to get what you want and me just get a back rub, then it makes me feel guilty that you didn't acknowledge that it's okay.
Yeah.
So I need to hear. And it's like, we just went through something, and I'm like, you can't just think that, you've got to say it. you've got to express it, and I need you to hear. I need to hear you say it, that it's okay.
I
We've been
actually
married
love
23 years, right? Like we've been working on this, and it's you go through these times, and it's been a major thing for me to say, this is exactly what I need. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful to grow together and find more joy. And then, when he gets what he wants, it's going to be that much better for him because I'm going to be totally into it, right? Like it's just
you said it all because you don't want to give him a little bit like a compromise, like, okay, fine, do it and get done with. You want to be doing it fully in it where you're going to be satisfied, fulfilled, and the same for him, And like you said, there's nothing as beautiful as no matter how long you've been together, but each and every single area of our lives needs us to give it attention. It needs us to nurture, to nourish it, including that sexual, that intimacy, instead of just ignoring it and be like, oh, it's my wife, my husband for so many years, and even the communication. And it's not even about like the background, it's everything. You can just feel like, I just want to, just kiss you and do all sorts of things or even touch each other, but I don't want penetration tonight. You have those conversations that I don't want to go there, but I just want to feel the sensuality part of it, the connection part of it. And you ask the other person, are you okay with this? Are you willing to go that far with me? And it also, it brings in that part of discipline, that part of teasingness that comes with it, where it's gonna like, you're gonna have it, but we're just gonna play, because it's that, it's that pleasure, to say you deserve pleasure. It doesn't always have to end up with penetration. And this also, it's something that also counts for us, even when we are by ourselves, even just touching your breast or even touching just your whatever part of you that you just feel like, I want to give this part my attention. It doesn't mean that it's gonna end up with any penetration or whatever, but no, you're just gonna enjoy the feel of your skin, your body, and all that, and your partner can do the same. And like I said, it has that element of teasing as well, which is also what makes it more. It's more like just let the flame be there, and and let him leave him guessing to what is going like, I can't wait to be home, baby, because when you love me yesterday, just the fire
right,
burning.
right. It's beautiful, and it is a very important thing. We concentrate on our bank accounts. We take care of our cars. There's so many things that we do. We make sure our kids get into the right schools, and we redecorate our houses. But think about your embodiment and how you can redecorate inside. Listen to that inner child, your innocence. Bring that out because it's your gift. And also, and when you're talking about hugging touching yourself and just, feeling your own skin and how beautiful you are. And this might sound corny, but lately I've been having anxiety, and I've just been, I don't know if it's the solar flares or what it is, but I will just hug myself and I'll tell my inner child that I love her.
It's beautiful.
And just, not when anyone else is around, but just when I'm by myself and I have a moment, because it's easy to disregard all the things you've been through. And, all of us, all women, all people, I don't want to just make this a woman thing or a female thing. All people have been through so much. I mean, just think about the mass consciousness over the last 5 years and all the things and the things we're going through. And, we just deserve to have some compassion for ourselves. Some,
Yeah.
just recognize, you went out of your way, and you're a good person, and you're trying your hardest, and just, soak into that a little bit and know that you deserve joy. I mean, everybody, we just deserve to feel some joy. And these aren't things that are expensive. This is something that's around and in your field every day.
Yeah.
You don't have to go searching for this. This is
No,
here.
it's here. And what I love about what you said when you said, I felt that my inner child needed something, I just hugged myself and told my inner child that I love you. That's beautiful. And here you are, and we've been married for 23 years, but you are here taking care of you. And the mistake that we do, both men and women, is of trying to push our inner child to our partners and wanting that from someone, or even being angry. You can just be angry with a partner. You don't love me and all that. Where is that coming from? Your inner child may have wanted to hear that from you. But if you are not present enough and not willing to give you the love that you deserve, you're gonna go and because children, I love them, they're unapologetic, but at the same time, they have a tendency of throwing a tantrum when they need something. That's the only way that they communicate. And when this aspect is not integrated, that's what it does. You can just be angry at times, but why can't you just tell me what you need without all this tantrum and the argument? I don't know, it's because that's how you learn to communicate when wanted your parents' attention or something when you were young, And even when you're talking about the intimacy part, what is coming to my mind is one lady I worked with who she was totally disconnected from her inner child. She was also married to a great, great husband, and she was disconnected from herself, from her inner child. And all these years, she's been married for more than 15 years. All these years, like it came to her awareness when we started working together that she has never opened her heart to love her husband or her children because of what happened to. Actually, not even there's some parts of it that happened to her, but it's more what she observed her mother and father going through, and she made a vow, I will never allow a man to take advantage of me. And now she is married to a great man, but she doesn't know how to open and allow him in, even when it comes to the intimacy. As we were working together, there was a point when she said, "Oh my God, my husband is wondering what is happening to me now because it's like I'm on heat or something." Before she said, I used to think he's an addict or something with the way he always had the demands, the desires, and I felt like, whew, man, but now I'm the one who is on his case, and he's just like, what the hell is going on? And he's just realizing that by integrating the inner child and opening to herself, now she can love herself, she can love her children and be fully present. She can love her husband, and even the insecurity that the husband had, it was not baseless, because she didn't really open her heart, because for her it was like, if I let you in, you're gonna think that I'm weak, and then you're gonna do the same thing that was done to my mother, so I'm not letting you in, and that blocked a lot of things, especially that she resented her father. So the father was a breadwinner that had a problem with money, because of the resentment to the father and all these things, not living fully and all that. But when you come back to yourself, your inner child, your sexual energy, and you let go of, which is like the generational toxic patterns and imprints, now you start living your life, not being influenced by other people's things. Especially as children, we take what our parents are not processing. We take all of that in exchange for love. I'm gonna take your stuff since this baggage is stopping you from loving me. I'm gonna take this, and you take my love. Maybe there's gonna be space for me. But then with time, you realize that you can't do anything with things that do not belong to you. It's a baggage that you can't do anything about. There's a moment where you get to let go of it, and that's where the codependency is coming from, where often because men are told not to feel, that's the wound that has been there for many generations, so men will look for a woman who can feel, so it's kind of like you get to process for yourself and process for me. And because of the disconnection from the sacral, the womb energy where the creation happens, women as well, even if we may be working at times, you realize you can be working hard, but you're not able to keep the money that you have. But the only reliance is, I'm going to rely on my partner. He provides the security and you provide that emotional thing, but it's not, it's messy. It's
It's a codependency, like you said. Yeah. It's so easy to see it the way you describe it.
Yeah.
It's like wild. And it's funny because I'll even tell my husband, I'm like, I'm not processing this emotion for you. This one's yours. I'll call him out. And I didn't really understand. It was like I don't have the energy. I'm not sleeping. I'm anxious. I can't take on
Yeah.
anything else. And it's just really interesting how our relationships can help us see, and you can
Yeah.
use them as a tool to grow and become closer and be more honest with yourself. And, that anyone who's really interested in some serious movement in their life, you just start looking at your inner child stuff. I'm just telling you, it's a wormhole. It's worth to go down. It's painful. You're going to cry. you're gonna feel like that 2-year-old in the line at the checkout who wants a candy and can't get it. But then, I don't know about you, but now I can see, like, since I've done, and I'm not an expert on inner child, believe me, but I can see other people going through their inner child wounds, like when they do it, like you said, they're just triggered. It's like this really strong, like, throw up of emotion, and you're like, whoa, that's inner child wound. I see it. It's happening. It's like a train wreck, but it's good because if they can work through it, they don't have to go through it again. Like, so it's
And
worth
I
it.
love what you said, even when you use the word throw up. It's just like that, even in the literal sense. I've worked with people who, at times after just doing their session, some of that being nauseous, they said, some have diarrhea, some start showing up. Because it's a lot of things that we are even discussed about that has not been processed. So it's a literal throw up show, just like purging, which is really needed, even when it comes to like the health part, for you to start having those new cells, for your body to start even receiving the nutrients that it needs. You need to let go of everything that has been on the way. So it's literally that, and even when we talk about what happens in a relationship, it's quite interesting. What is coming through is the other lady, the other time she connected with me, and the first thing that I felt was like just a very pain on it's on the heart area actually, and I was like, oh my God. So I asked her, what's going on with you? What is this pain, and she said, no, I don't have that pain. Actually, my husband is the one who has that pain, and he's been going to the hospital. He's trying to figure out what's going on. And it's just that sometimes it's the physical pain that the other person can end up feeling. Sometimes it's the emotional that the other person gets to process for the other, and then you are not even aware. Like the wife knows that, okay, my partner has that pain. But on the other hand, she's carrying that, because it was the imprint was showing up in her energetic field as
You
well.
felt it in her energetic, yeah.
Yeah,
And like
I
the
was
same way you can carry your mother and your father's pain, or it's ancestral. So sometimes it's not even your stuff, like, completely. This has just been an amazing conversation. I'm so happy all these things. I had no idea we're going to get so deep into to relationships and intimacy, but I'm so glad because it's really important, and it's fun. I had a blast talking with you about it.
I did too. And on the other hand, like for instance, I'm someone who went through different situations, separation with children, divorce, and all that. And at times when you go through this, you can make it about that, and you kind of like try to protect yourself by not wanting to be in a relationship, or not even wanting to open up, because there's betrayal that happened. I talk about this core wounds: betrayal, abandonment, abuse, and rejection. We go through them all. But one thing that I truly believe in is we should never allow any circumstances or anyone to stop us from loving. So I love this, life of love, because love is everything. And again, even relationships, we grow through relationships. And sometimes you may have gone through a situation where a relationship was ending because whatever that you were meant to learn, you have learned it, and that contract is over. So now you are being led into something else, so that you can also experience another depth of love. So we get to open ourselves to that, because you can't know if you're doing the work and being by yourself, you're not going to grow at the level that you are meant to grow. We grow through love. Relationships are the best way for us to know who we are, because we have shot in someone the parts of us that we love and have accepted about ourselves. And sometimes we have trouble when we come across the parts that we have rejected or denied in us. Now, when we're looking at that mirror, kind of like, who the heck are you? But it's a part of us that needs our attention. So thank you.
Thank you. And then I know you're active on your Instagram account, but how else can people reach you? Do you have a website or any
Yeah.
information if someone wanted to find out more about these pearls of wisdom you offered and this insight. It's just so wonderful.
Yeah, my website is gaomotse.com, just my name, GAOMOTSE. And Facebook is also Gaomotse. Instagram, Gaomotse Magnetic Confidence. And TikTok is the same. LinkedIn, I'm also active there. And I'll also share my Calendly link with those who would like an introduction to African Asian quantum medicine methodology. I would like to offer your audience that open introduction call.
Share it. I already talked about my sex life today, so. Thank you for staying up late in Germany for us, Hao.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much,
All the best.
Much love.